And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to EFL Teacher Talk with Sean G. I am Sean Gallagher, your host for another edition of talking about issues that are very important to EFL teachers. So today's issue, we're going to go with an academic issue today. We will be talking about graded readers and also extensive reading, and how, first of all, why and how you should be using graded readers and extensive reading in your classes. If you're not doing this, you're doing something wrong. So pay attention, listen up. You definitely want to learn more about graded readers and extensive reading because it will tremendously help your students in your classes. So just kind of basic outline. What are graded readers? What is extensive reading? Graded readers are just special books that are specially designed for an extensive reading program. These are a couple examples of some this is the lowest level graded reader that I have. It's called a CAT. It's done by Jelly and Bean, and this is it's a phonics graded reader. And this is the very first book that we do. You can go up a little bit more to the Fun Phonics Reader series. Thank you, Greg, for doing these. These are great if you're using New Finding Out again. At the earlier levels, a lot of phonics are incorporated, and then it gets into more fluent reading level. There's some other resources that you can use for graded reading. But graded readers are books that are specifically designed to be used in an extensive reading program. A lot of times you'll hear about head words and word count and things like this. The thing I like about this series is if you go on the back page, it has the number of words in the book right there. It has the head words in there in the book. At the back of the book. So that's always good. And then, so extensive reading. Extensive reading is, obviously, I think a lot of people know what extensive reading is. If you don't, go research it a little bit. But in a nutshell, very, very shortly, extensive reading is students reading large quantities of words, of words and pages that are either at or kind of below their student level. They're not really using it. They're not reading the books to learn the language in the books. They're more using language that they already know to read a story that's kind of entertaining in a book. If you want to read more about that, this is an excellent guide. I think this thing's ancient. I don't know if they publish this thing anymore. But Oxford Graded Readers, the why and how of using graded readers. This is done by Rob Waring of Notre Dame Seisheen University. It's an excellent thing. So you can learn more about graded readers and extensive reading in this. But anyway, so extensive reading is basically, just reading a lot of words that are either at or below the student's reading level. I know you need to get in the high 90s of the numbers of words of the vocabulary that the students already know. So what that means is students shouldn't be choosing graded readers where they can't read at least about 95% of the words in there. So basically, they shouldn't be struggling with it is what that means. It should be easy for them. It should be kind of fun and enjoyable, and it should just kind of flow when they choose a book. And that's half of the thing especially in the kids EFL market. A lot of times, sometimes kids might choose a book based on the cover. Oh, hey, I want to read the story about the duck, but that's beyond their level, and they try to choose that anyway. So here at the school, having students be able to choose a book that's appropriate for them is another skill that we work on, and I think it's a very valuable skill for students to have. So anyway, so that's basically extensive reading in a nutshell. Some of the benefits of extensive reading. I went online and I found a very nice report done by the International Journal of Social Sciences and Educational Studies. This report is called The Benefits of Graded Reading, and it's done by Mr. Mustafa Albay. This is the first page of it right here. It's a PDF. I downloaded it onto my computer and read it. It has some great information in here. I'll post the link for this. One of the reasons I absolutely love graded reading is because it seems like oftentimes here in Japan that sometimes EFL methodologies that are used at a particular school or in a classroom, it seems like they're just kind of randomly chosen, right? Maybe we're using it this way because we've always done it this way. And it seems like sometimes that the methods and the materials that are being used in classes don't really have like a quantitative like a basis to be used in the classroom. It's like, why do we use that stuff in the classroom? One of the things I absolutely love about graded reading is that there have been tons and tons of studies done on graded reading that scientifically measured the benefits for students. So it's just something that it's good for your students to do. It's like exercise and your health. It's good for you. Graded reading, graded readers and extensive reading is great for your language development, like foreign language skills development. And that's been proven in these studies and things like that. So anyway, so just going on to some of the quick rundown of some of the benefits that your students can get if you get them on a graded, an extensive reading program using graded readers. Okay. So anyway, this is number 2 on the list right here. Some of the benefits is number 1, the students gain reading fluency. And of course, that's obvious. If they read more, they're going to get better at reading. And just remember, reading is one of the 4 main language skills. We have listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And of course, if they're practicing reading, they're going to get better at that one language skill. And actually, there are a lot of spillover effects into other language skills as well. Another benefit, so this is number 3 on the list here, is that through extensive reading, students are going to enhance their vocabulary and their grammar knowledge. Just because they're going to encounter the grammar patterns and vocabulary over and over when they're reading, they're naturally just going to get better at using those words and recognizing those words. I think it says in this book right here, a student needs to encounter a word 15 to 20 times before they internalize it. So I think it just helps with those numbers as well. Number 4, this graded reading, doing extensive reading in the classroom with a teacher present can vastly improve a student's pronunciation. This just happened today. Actually, so right now we're doing an extensive reading. We have this kind of 2-month rally. It's a reading rally where all the kids are reading lots of books, and we keep points and scores and things like that. And there's really a lot of interest in it. It's a very positive thing. And I noticed in class, we can catch a lot of pronunciation errors in class. So yeah, doing extensive reading in class is a great way to help with pronunciation. Extensive reading can also be done outside of class as well. It's actually designed to be done outside of class. But I think having one session where they're doing it in class is a great way to just check for pronunciation, and it'll help with that. Another benefit of graded readers and extensive reading, number 5, simple motivation. The kids especially, it's fun. They get a new book, and we've taught them how to read using phonics all year, and then we kind of finally just turn them loose, and say, like, here, go read something that's at your level. So I think there's kind of a real spike in interest in the class. It's fun. I think it's really fun as a child to get a new book every week. I think everybody remembers that feeling when you were a child, and let's say you'd go to the library and check out a book. Well, that's what we're doing every week here. We have books that kids can check out for the week and then bring them back. And yeah, it's just, it really helps with motivation, and which is always a good thing. Number 6 on our list is extensive reading really helps with student confidence as well too. Up until before we start doing this reading rally that we do for a couple months, students actually can do it. The teachers know they can do it, but when the kids actually start reading all these stories and they see they can actually do it, right? And it's wonderful, because sometimes you can see the light goes on in their eye and they're like, oh, hey, I can actually read this stuff. So yeah, it's a huge confidence boost. And I think a great indication of that is when kids when I tell them, oh, hey, do you want a second book? Because normally we loan out one book per session. And sometimes I ask them, hey, do you want a second book? And the kids look at me like, oh, wow, we can do that? We can get a second book? So anytime kids are leaning in, like they want more books and things like that, it's a huge boost in confidence. It's really good. The last benefit that we'll go over, there are more, but the last one we'll go over for the show is parents absolutely love our reading rally that we do here. I think the optics on it, the way that it looks, I think is what the parents want the classroom to look like. They want their students to be getting books. They want their students to be reading books and things like that. So I think the optics on it are great. I think it's great because we also make the parents listen. We have a paper where the kids have to sign. They have to practice it a couple times and then read it once to their parents, and their parents have to sign it. The parents feel involved in it, and the kids are demonstrating their reading skills to the parents. So that's a thing called showcasing. Thank you, Scott Crow, for introducing that term to me. But showcasing is when you're just providing an example of the students' skills that they're learning at your school. You're just showing this to the parents, right? So the graded readers and extensive reading, it's great for showcasing because the parents, it's something that they can wrap their minds around. Oh, hey, my kid can read book 1 through 10. So I think a lot of times for parents, it's very difficult to judge, is this a good program? Is this not a good program? This is one very tangible thing that parents can wrap their minds around. And and it's a huge positive for the school. So that is about it for today. Great talking about graded readers and extensive reading. If you're not using graded readers and extensive reading, I highly recommend that you get something going in your school or in your classes. Because it's proven to be great for your students, and it's something that I think students really enjoy. I guess a final note: we start doing this. We start having this program basically for kids who are ichinense and up, so maybe elementary, first grade and up, and that's in our Eikaiwa program. I think in our preschool program it's on a separate track, but I know for the once a week, twice a week Eikaiwa program, we normally get kids going with these extensive reading and graded readers, maybe from about elementary, first grade and up. So that is it for this week. I'll post the link for this thing. I don't know if Oxford has that thing anymore, but maybe somebody could contact them or maybe look online. And yeah, that's it for this week. So everybody have a great week of teaching in your classes. And until next week, signing off.